Hello, my name is Brian Fox, and welcome to my new channel, I Hate Rock Music. And this whole idea was inspired by exchanges I had with a friend of mine who's also legendary Seattle producer Jack Endino. And we had a number of exchanges talking about bands that we loved and hated and records that we loved and hated. And it gave me this idea because I enjoy talking about rock music, and so that's what I'm going to use this channel for. And it'll include a lot of other different types of music as well, but I'll focus in on rock music. And so the irony, of course, is that I love rock music. I grew up with rock music. It's in my DNA. The things I love about rock music, of course, are loud guitars, loud amps, great songs, great singers, great lyrics, great melodies, and music, rock music that's so good it qualifies as art. And it doesn't have to be intentional to be art. It's just rock music that is so good that it becomes art. Of course, there's a lot of art, rock music that strives to be art, and it can be art as well. And then, of course, there's the popular rock music that appeals to the masses, and sometimes that resonates with me, and sometimes it doesn't. And so the things I hate about rock music, particularly as I get older, a lot of the cliches and the uniforms that have been going on for decades just don't impress me that much anymore. That includes bad clothes, bad haircuts, bad songs, bad lyrics, booze, beer, drugs, chicks, the pretentiousness, the arrogance, the ego that it takes. But that said, I understand that's an integral part of a lot of rock music. And in my younger rock days, of course, I indulged in all of those things. But the bottom line is rock music isn't rocket science. It doesn't take anyone that bright to get in front of a microphone and yell and then play some guitar chords and write some silly lyrics. And a lot of them can actually be pretty good, and a lot of them can end up being very bad. But I have to admit that the classical composers impressed me a lot more. They were more interested in pure music. You actually have to have an attention span, and there's a lot of complexity that I respond to now. A lot of rhythmic complexity, a lot of harmonic complexity, a lot of melodic complexity, and of course, I love the selflessness of it. There's no cliches or fashion attached to it. It's just pure music. But I might get into that more in future videos. But I'll be covering a wide range of bands. I'll be talking about the bands and their records and their histories. So there's something that will be interesting to a lot of people. But I also need to warn everyone that I will be brutal and merciless with bands that I don't like. And just remember, this is my personal taste. Don't take it personally. Um, but I will be dismissing a lot of things out of hand, and that's just the nature of it. So many will be pretty happy with what they hear, and many will be very unhappy with what they hear. And I have a lot of big rock heroes. I love Nirvana, I love the Beatles, I love the Rolling Stones, I love Jimi Hendrix, I love Captain Beefheart, I love John Coltrane, I love the Alice Cooper Group, I love the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed, Jeff Buckley. I have a lot of big rock heroes, and I'll be talking about them in the future as well. But what exactly is it that qualifies me as some kind of expert and someone who has any credibility talking about these things? Well, I started listening to rock music in 1967. I saw my first bands, the Springfield Rifle, 67. I saw Blue Cheer in 1968. Saw the Iron Butterfly in 1970, and went on from there. Alice Cooper, Humble Pie, King Crimson, all the rest. So I have a long history of going out to rock shows and buying records. I've probably seen 400 or 500 bands. I've probably seen 600 or 700 shows, and I also worked in all the most legendary record stores in Seattle: Musicland, Cellophane, Tower, Peaches. Um, so I was like an alcoholic working in a liquor store, but I had access to a lot of records and became quite the vinyl junkie. At my height, I had about 8,000 albums and about 12,000 singles. Not so much a vinyl collector anymore. It's in my DNA, it's in my blood. I'll always be a vinyl junkie, but kind of gravitated back to CDs because I just more interested in the convenience and being able to play music wherever I go. And I'm just more interested in getting involved in the music and not necessarily buying records. But I do understand, when you have a vinyl record that you don't listen to that much, it still has a lot of value sitting on your shelf. With CDs sitting on your shelf, they don't have much value in the long run if you're not going to listen to them. But I my like most people, my musical taste and what resonates with me is in my earliest years discovering rock. So a lot of my taste and what resonates with me started in the era of 67 through 75, 76, and on because I grew up through the psychedelic era through the prog rock and hard rock era, the folk rock era. I was really into punk. I was really into post punk. I was really into grunge, and a lot of things that have come since. And I also spent a lot of time in the business. I was a DJ at a club. I wrote for the local music paper in the 90s, The Rocket. I put out a couple of records with a fledgling record label, put out the Moberly's album here in Seattle and the Fastbacks first 12-inch. I was manager of a punk band in 1980 to 82 called The Living, which featured the drummer that went on to Mother Love Bone and teenage Duff McKagan, guitarist who, of course, went on to Guns N' Roses. And I also spent about 30 years playing music myself as a guitarist, synthesizer, percussion, vocals, songwriter. So I've got a lot of experience all the way around with music, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about it. And I kind of know a lot of famous people. I've ridden around in a limo snorting coke with Cheap Trick. I had dinner with REO Speedwagon at the Watergate Hotel. So I've had a lot of interesting experiences, and I'll probably bring those up in some of my videos talking about music. But anyway, I'm going to take one band at a time and talk about their history and their music and what's good and what's bad. And then other bands I will be absolutely brutal with. But remember, it's all just personal taste, so don't take it personally. I'm not really out here to make friends. I just, being a music aficionado for over 50 years, is something I love to talk about, and so I'm going to take advantage of that with this channel. So anyway, welcome aboard. I'll be posting some videos very soon, and as I said, I think a lot of people find much to enjoy, and I bring a certain amount of attitude to it, and I look forward to it, and I hope you will too. I'm Brian Fox, and I hate rock music.